Hello! Welcome back to... Oh, that's weird. Ha! Haven't seen that before. Hello and welcome back to Lionheart. Yes. The glorious messiness still remains in my house. Right. Got a few things to catch you up on today. I've been running around like a headless chicken, getting distracted and whatnot. I have set up a couple stores. I don't remember if I showed it on camera already. I set up a dye shop a little while ago because I'd said that I would. I don't have all of the dyes yet. It's very basic, just a basic framework. I haven't built it fully yet. But that's a bit further down there, and I just set this up a couple of days ago. Looking beautiful. Probably make a house on stilts or something. This is kind of gonna be an ocean adventure shop. Like, I'll sell stuff that will help aid any ocean adventures you want to go on. So initially it was just enchanted books, but I'm gonna extend it. But it's got all of the kind of water-related enchantments, aquafinity, respiration, and stuff, because I was getting a lot of them from fishing and enchanting. And then some Depth Strider, and Unbreaking and Fortune, because they're just generally useful, and not that easy to get. And then this is for like lesser tier books, and then some potions that help with underwater shenanigans as well. I might do armor or like protection and sharpness and stuff, I don't know. And eventually, I don't know if it's gonna be possible, but it would be cool to sell tridents as well. Or maybe like kits even, you know, a set of like a helmet and boots and then some potions sort of thing people can buy all together. So that's the idea for here. This is where my dye shop is / will be. Some of the dyes are a bit expensive now, but as they become easier to obtain I will change the prices. These are 1 diamond per stack. These are 1 per 32, yes. Because they're a little bit harder to get. And I have a sale. That's nice. So I've got some more to put in here as well. Around the back here. I'm stuck. How do I get out? I set up a tiny little stand up here because I didn't know where else to put it. I'll probably move it. I'm offering an enchantment service. So, I put instructions in there. The idea is, people give me books that they want enchanted. I'll take them to an XP farm, enchant them all to level 3, and then give them back. And it's 1 diamond per 3 books, or 1 per 4 if they provide the lapis. It's just to save people time going and enchanting a bunch of books. And I got really sick of there not being a cactus farm, because I need the green dye for loads of dyes. So I made one down here. It's not big, and it's not super efficient, but yeah, and it only runs when people are online loading the chunks. But I can get a few stacks without actually having to do any work if I just leave it for a few hours. So that's good. Also, it's about time I made an ender chest, because it just helps with transporting things. So let me do that. Now, let's see, yes, ender chest. It'll help me transport the stuff over to the smelter, because it's about time we started building this. Here's what we have so far. Just the first glass cube that's been all emptied. And now I'm going to get on with building the second one around it and emptying everything out. Is what it looks like at the moment. I've finished building both frames and emptied out all of the water in between everything. So this is the inside. And now the tricky bit is trying to position the smelter correctly in it. We've got to have a platform about 5 blocks down from the ceiling, which will be where people are to use it, and then all the mechanism is down here. Well, I've got this far. I think that's positioned correctly. Let me just jump in my single player world to show you the design I've come up with so that you know exactly what it is I'm trying to build here. So this is the design I came up with some inspiration from other places, mainly Ethos Super Smelter. I'm using his splitting device because it seems like the fastest option and I quite like how quick it is. And then this design, the idea of the furnaces going out like this, I guess was his as well. I don't know, maybe it's standard. Anyway, so people put what they want to be smelted in here. Let's see if it's still working. It empties out really quickly. And these go on and on off switch, so it should. I think I tried hooking it up to a timer and that's why they're still going, but honestly the on-off thing is a lot simpler. Distributes everything to all of the furnaces and then they get sent into these droppers which send them through these water streams and up here and into this chest. And yeah, that was pretty quick. So that's basically how it goes. It does a stack in basically the time it takes to smelt one item plus the travel time, so it's like 15-20 seconds. And yeah, I could have made it bigger, but that would be very iron heavy, and it already is. And it would actually have required more in-depth complicated redstoning here, because so when these are set to just run forwards and backwards, they suck up items really quickly. They'll suck up 9 items at a time. So if you have 8 furnaces along here, then it'll distribute, I guess, them evenly, and then this one will get 2. But if you had, say, 16 along, only the first 9 ones would ever get items, because then this would be empty and it'd continue and not put any in the rest and then come back to pick up more. So that you gotta have to have redstone to keep this here for longer. Just a bit more complicated, and I didn't want to bother with that. I also tried, all of this stuff here is going to change. I tried it to make it intelligent enough that these would run whenever anything was in here that needed smelting. However, to measure what's in a minecart hopper, you have to use a detector rail and a comparator next to it, and a minecart on a detector rail won't start. You can't, there's no way to power it to start unless you're doing it like this, where it stops on an angle with a fence gate to hold it in place, and then the signal, when it's strong enough, when the contents is strong enough, it sends a signal around to open this gate so that the cart can start. And to do that for even one of these, let alone all of them, again, is just too complicated. I tried measuring it based on items passing through these hoppers, but it still doesn't work well. So I'm just gonna go with, people have to switch it on for it to run, and switch it off at the end. And then, yes, the on-off switch also lets this minecart run. This is the one that fills fuel into the furnaces. And it'll be kept here unless there's, I think it's about 2 stacks in there. And if the system is off. So this will only run if the system is on, and if it's got enough fuel here. So as you can see now, 2 stacks is not running. If I switch it on now, it'll go. So that's how that works. Switch that off again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Ignore this bit up here. That was something else I experimented with. That's not going to be there. I had a lot of problems with these 2 water streams joining from either side, because if they just join here and then have a water stream go up directly here, then the items would shoot across. And because of the water stream going up here, you have to have a sign on either side to hold that water stream in place, and so then items would get stuck there and not make it up. And then I tried having these ones at different levels, like this would come in here and then this one would come in up here, but then the ones going up would still sometimes get stuck there. And again, there had to be a sign to hold this water column in place. So that didn't work, and so eventually I came up with this, where I use a couple of water streams here to make sure that the water flows exactly to the end, like this, so that even if they shoot across, they'll get sent back down again into this water stream, which can then fire all of the items into this, with this trapdoor holding the water back, and that works really well. I'm using a trapdoor, not a sign, because I figure items are more likely to get caught on a sign than on the trapdoor, because it's at the top of the block. So that's the basic idea behind the system. It might look, bits of it might look a little bit different when I'm done, but that is what I'm building. So, Ike has come to help me here. I made a huge mistake, and I knew that I needed to check this thing, and I completely forgot until just now. Which the problem is that these powered rails are directional. They'll connect to each other in one direction, like a north-south direction, but not east-west. So I should have built this thing east-west, not north-south, to stop these ends connecting to each other. Like, let me show you. If I do that, it connects that way, and I need it not to. So Ike says it can still be fixed, so he's here doing it. Okay, he managed to rescue me and get all of the rails to run right. I didn't realize that was possible, but that's great. So now I just have to copy this identically on the other side. Alright, rails are in place, and now I'm just doing this mechanism for the fuel cart. So there's a detector rail under there, and if I put a... No! Go back! I needed to put a comparator there. And then there'll be a piston that can push and pull this up and down, so that when the system is on, it'll be down, so this can send a signal through, and if the system is off, it can't, so even if this has enough fuel, it still won't run. It's not necessarily a big deal, actually, if it does, but I like to limit when minecarts can run because they're noisy. Actually, that works. Because it's when the signal strength is at 2 that it goes. Otherwise it would run, if it was just at 1, then it would run with just one thing in it, and that would be really dumb. So that should work now, and then I'll put in the piston to control this. Okay, now I'm putting in the power source that will make the minecarts go. It's a little bit hard to see from here, but those torches, they power that block, and then the minecarts are on either side. Yeah, you can see it better from here. These blocks are being powered from below, and then they trigger the minecarts on either side to go. Okay, I've added another row below that of torches, and then because it was a bit complicated trying to actually access power the ones up there, so I've set another row of torches, and then we just have to, let's see, that can power that, and then this pulls that power through and powers that, and also sends it down here, and that will come up and power this, and that will turn all of those off. So now, let's see, if I put a torch here, all of those torches should go off. Yes, okay, great. So all we have to do is send a signal to here to turn all of the carts on and off. The dropper mechanism is a bit of a squeeze now, but I think I've got it figured out. Let's see. This comparator measures what's in the dropper and sends power here through this block to here and powers this redstone, and then that redstone can power that piston, which then pushes this observer into this one, and that creates a clock. So if I put something in here now, it should get ejected. And did I? Yeah. Okay, that works. Great. Okay, I've built this now. So I did the same mechanism with the dropper on this side, and now I've put in this channel with the blue ice to make the items travel quick. And then sides, obviously. I've made the sides out of polished andesite so that you can clearly see which blocks are holding back water, so that you know not to break them. Unfortunately, it's kind of quite a quick block to break with efficiency 4. It would actually have been better to use this, but it's too late now, so this is fine. And I'll put the water streams in and then glass on top so that the items don't pop out. Okay, I've put in the water streams and covered it up and built this water stream up here with the soul sand at the bottom, using the kelp trick to make the water sources. And so now this has to come over to this chest here. And, actually, this needs to be a block up. I'm trying to make it get the items as quickly as possible. So, I want to connect 4, let's see, 4 hoppers to it, so that means on this side, and, oh no, let's see, and on top, and then like this. So items will come up here and then flow across this and get, some will go down into these, and some will go into these. It won't be completely even, but the point is that there's 4 hoppers that can put in an item at any time. And that, I've tested and it does speed it up. Okay, I've done that. Looks a bit ugly. When all of the mechanism is built, I'm gonna have to try and make the top here pretty. I'm trying to make it symmetric, if that wasn't obvious. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how I'll make it look, but that's a problem for not now. So what's the next thing? We need to power all of these rails. Let's see, levers. It's actually fairly easy. I say that like people don't know that powering rails is easy, but I mean that there's a pattern you can use. So if I put a block here and then power it, it powers these 3 sets of rails. So that's a really useful way to do it. Okay, I've powered all of the rails, I believe, and I hope without powering anything that shouldn't be powered. So it's especially complicated down here. This is where the fuel furnace, it does a loop around the whole system. So it goes along here and then around and back down here, and then it drops straight down and goes underneath and then back up here and around, and then the same on the other side. So there's 2 tracks here going down and around, and then this thing in the middle. Okay, it's been a few days. I have finished all of the rest of this off camera because, well, it was taking a long time. So let's see, the on-off switch is up there and the power gets sent down here and then up. I had to change some of these torches because when they were on the top of this block, they were actually powering hoppers, so things weren't getting distributed properly, so I moved them to the sides of the blocks instead to power the minecarts, and now that works fine. I also inserted another dropper at either end, so 2 sets of furnaces go into each one to speed it up, because the bottleneck was items getting spit out of the dropper and into the water stream. The other side, there's a comparator measuring each dropper, and then if there's anything in either of them, they both get powered. Here, there was no space because of the wall, so just this one is being measured by the comparator, and when there's anything in this, the signal gets sent around and both of these get powered, which means that potentially something could get stuck in this one. But that hasn't happened so far, and quite a lot of stuff has been smelted, like stacks and stacks of stuff. So I think it's alright. I set this repeater to 4 ticks to try and increase the time that the clock is on when it is on, to increase the chances of everything getting emptied from this. I mean, it should work because things get distributed at the same rate and spit into the hoppers at the same rate, and droppers, I mean, at the same rate and everything, so it seems to be okay. If you are... I should probably test this, because I added a thing at the top here. I have decorated, and I've put in this shulker dock. So you put your shulker box there and it empties stuff into this chest, and then when you want it back, you press the button, and you get your box back. The button is here because if this hopper isn't being powered, it'll instantly suck this up and then send it down into the system. So if you want your shulker box back, you've got to press the button. The downside is due to the weird way the splitting mechanism works. If you're using the shulker dock, it'll only use one set of these furnaces instead of all of them, so it'll be 8 times slower, which is just the trade-off. It was insanely complicated to try and do anything else, and maybe not even possible, I'm not quite sure, not without making it giant at least. So the question is, which set of furnaces gets used? As long as it isn't one of these two at the back here that go into the dropper that isn't hooked up to a comparator, it should be fine. If not, I'm gonna have to change the redstone down there. And then, yes, I decorated, put in sea lanterns. This place should be spawn proof because most of it is glass. And then put in this water elevator up to the top. Ike helped me with that. Ooh, that was a bit scary. And there's an entrance at the top here with like a couple of they're meant to be sort of boat docks. I don't know quite how people will come out here. It's a bit far to build a bridge, but this is how it is for now. Yes, and that is that is it. Took a long time, but yes, I'm pleased with the result, and hopefully people will find it useful. So that is it for today, and thank you again for watching, and see you again next time.